After the bloody clashes at Galwan border, China resorted to unprovoked adventurism. And the Chinese media posted videos of military drills being conducted at high altitude region by its Tibetan command. India too has sent a clear message amidst the standoff to China. The BrahMos missile, world's fastest supersonic missile, have been given a combat clearance. This means that the missile is now war ready. So the question is, how should India respond to these signs that are coming from the Chinese, and what do we make of the message that is being sent by the Indian Defence Forces? All right, we'll get to talk about this with our panelists on the show. Let me in fact introduce them one by one. Joining us on the show is Shri Iyer, foreign policy analyst. We're also joined by Mr. K. Siddharth, geostrategist, advisor to international governments, and a space scientist as well. Good to see you, Siddharth. And we are also joined by Bharat S. Valecha. He's a China issues expert, journalist for the Epoch Times, New York. Shri, let me come to you first. All right, China has shown aggression. It's tried to tell India, it's been trying to send India that there is something which is going on at our side, but we are not going to divulge it completely. We will kill your people, we will kill your soldiers, but what is our intention behind this? We are not going to let you know. Typical China.
Yes, and I think India is doing the right thing by not revealing its hand. Remember that India is a democracy, freedom of speech, people will start making up whatever they want. But if the official arm of the government, and including the BJP, they don't make any statement that basically says that whatever it is that we are thinking, we are not going to let you know, so you will not have any time to prepare. And I'm hoping that that is the way that we should interpret what the directive that came out of the government in the morning, that BJP leaders should not say anything about the ongoing crisis along the LAC. Now, as far as technological innovations are concerned, I still feel like all this is some sort of posturing to try and keep his gaddi, that is Xi Jinping, that he's trying to say that I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and so on, to keep the people's focus away from what could be brewing, because the CCP is in revolt, but you don't get to know much because of the almost blanket cover that they put over their news and broadcasting. It's only the official media that gives you drips and bits and pieces here and there. So we are only going to be able to make some guesses as to what could be happening in there, the palace intrigues. But whatever it is, right? I don't think launching or not launching one satellite is going to make much of a difference. I think the bigger challenge is how is India going to push China back, because talk is not going to do it. Some muscle, some show of muscle must be shown, and we'll have to wait and see how they do that.
Okay, Joyita Basu, editor of the Sunday Guardian, also joins us on the program. Joyita, we've been following this development with you, and we've been talking about how China has unnecessarily raked up the border issue and blamed India for it. There are reports coming in that they are doing some sort of a prep job across the border. So once again, the muscle flexing, the posturing that was being done by China right before this skirmish, day before last night, is gone even further now. Instead of restraint, China is in fact doing just the opposite.
Well, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
What's going on seems to be that, China, thrives on posturing. And China, what is worrying for us is that China has started claiming the Galwan Valley. And it was from the Galwan Valley that the 1962 conflict that started. The first conflict happened in the Galwan Valley, and after 3 months, the Chinese started the actual war. So we should be worried about it. There's no doubt about it, because you see, if China is trying to make an example out of India, then we should be worried about it. But at the same time, does not mean that we are going to stay quiet and we are going to behave like, we should not be timid. We should stand up and we should make our stand very clear that you retreat to your original position wherever it was. You cannot keep changing your claim lines every third year or fourth year, that you keep saying that okay, that territory belongs to us, that territory belongs to us. So we have to take all these things into account. We have to be very, very careful about whatever is happening, and we have to watch carefully what is going on. We cannot let our guard down even for a second.
We cannot let our guard down even for a second. And Bharat, let me come to you now. Can China really be trusted? If you remember, the Galwan region was specifically responsible for the kind of problems that erupted between India and China even in 1962. Joyita, I would appreciate if you can mute yourself. There's a lot of noise being made through your earphone. Joyita, please mute yourself. When I come to you, you can unmute yourself. Right. Siddharth, coming back to you. Can China really be trusted with anything? They have also issued a statement that we don't want escalation. We want to resolve this. Can they be trusted? We should still be preparing, right?
No, absolutely wrong. The basic reason is, if you go to take a look at the history of it, China has never shown a spirit that can be trusted. Take the case of Naxal movement, China abated it. Take the case of Northeast insurgency, China abated it. Take the case of whatever that they did in Tibet was never to be trusted. Take the case of the sharing of the hydrological data of Brahmaputra or even Yarlung Zewang, they have never shared that part at all. Take the case of most of the mineral resources that happen to down the entire region of Tibetan region, particular Dark region, and they don't want to be sharing that part. Think of it, what they did with Japan in 2010. They had a huge amount of resources of rare earth elements, and they were exporting these elements to Japan for Toshiba company. Now, all of a sudden, they wanted to strangulate Japan, and they went to squeeze that entire exports. So, because they have an abundance of rare earth elements in them, they can go to do that part. Now, Chinese don't go on to believing in certain things like values. You'll go to see that Chinese are poker faced. Where it is happiness or it is sadness or anything, you will not go on to see any type of expression on the face of the Chinese god. They are complete robots. Some of those places, people can go on to feel for the other people, feel for the other nations and countries as well. Chinese don't want to feel at all. And they have a single point agenda, that is expand it and at any possible cost expand it, fulfill your own selfish interests in this case. And for them, the only solution to their aspect is you must go on to ruthlessly keep on doing certain things. Now you can imagine what they did with the soldiers in Galwan Valley last night. This is completely brutal. You go on to say something else. There is something called international diplomacy as well. That is, you go on to stand by the words that you have, and you go on to say something in the morning, go on to say something in the afternoon, go on to say something completely opposite. This is what they have done. You again go on to take a look at South China Sea, what they did with Vietnam, what exactly are they doing with these partly islands. They can go on to rake up any type of an issue in any manner possible. When it came to the crestline principle demarcation of the boundaries between India and China, what they did was that a thin line they replaced with a very, very thick line. So not only the crest, the entire of the mountain went to fell into the side of the Chinese. So do you think that this is the way a country behaves? Do you think that this is the way it should be? That should be the character of a country. That should be the way that a government goes on to function. I don't want to, not only me, just go on to let me understand in any manner possible that that is a country which has such type of a psyche, a country which can go to wreak havoc in the whole of the world by generating that virus, by propagating that virus, and then concealing it, then of course there is no way that you can go to trust this country and the psyche of the people also.
Okay, you can't trust this country. And Bharat Valecha, to you now. Linking the border standoff to the pandemic case, Siddharth, may sound a little far-fetched, but the fact of the matter is that Xi Jinping has been strongly criticized within the country for his handling of the COVID-19 crisis. And this, what we are seeing at the LAC, what we are seeing at Galwan, is a spillover of his frustration, is perhaps a distraction tactic by Xi Jinping, to detract people from what he was doing in the country to take care of COVID-19, or rather not take care of COVID-19?
I agree with you. I agree with you to a large extent that this is what has been practiced to an extent. But you can understand there has been a convergence of a lot of aspects in this case. That has been one part of it. When you go on to understand that the Chinese have been building up their forces since December in the whole of the Tibetan region, then you will also going to appreciate that it is a long-term policy. It has been a far-fetched policy. It is something that is in very cold-blooded murder of sorts. Now, at that point of time, Chinese may not have thought of going ahead by mitigating the effects of this spillover of a bad name because of COVID-19. Now, that is number one. Second is Chinese have to attract this type of an attention right now because Chinese want to project themselves as a world leader. Chinese want to project themselves that they are completely unfazed by, unaffected by that. Chinese also want to say that is we are the boss, come what may be. Chinese also want to say that is even if this is the position, then we will go to follow our aggressive policies in this case. But more important in this case has been the construction of the road that is going to be linking with Bage Oldie. Largely because when this road is going to be constructed, it will be very close to LSE. And when it is going to be close to LSE, it will be able to link the entire of the proposed BRI with India. It will be very close to, and India can easily go to form it. Now, the second part has been that is that India will be very, very close to that of a Karakoram highway as well, and it will be overlooking Karakoram highway. It can go to form it in any manner. The third part also has been in this case that it can go to cross Shock River easily, which was sometime back unthinkable. So to think that it has been now India has been trying to make itself secure, and that is the greatest problem with China right now. That is why is it that it has been trying to make itself secure. China went on to have this conflict not only for that region. Chinese also go on to be having a good amount of rare earth elements in Tibetan region, in Ladakh region, and rare earth elements are the ones that are going to be used for the purpose of making your microchips, making the screen of your mobile phone, in all the electronic items, in satellites, every place. Now, just for half a centimeter, half a millimeter of a microchip, can you imagine how much amount of water is going to be required? 10,000 liters of water is going to be required. And from where is it that the Chinese are going to be getting it? Now, Chinese therefore going to be sitting on a water tower that we're going to be calling it as Tibetan region. Now, that is the biggest reservoir of water other than the Amazon basin or other than that we going to be having in the world. Largely because a good number of rivers are in this place, a good amount of the snow cover exists in this place, and that is another of this factor. To link only with the pandemic factor that has been, it will be far-fetched. As I said, it has been a convergence of a lot of factors, including the last one, that is they wanted to punch India. They thought that India was going a bit too high, hobnobbing with his newly found girlfriend of United States. So why not go to punch them in the nose so they can go to low? See what exactly will be the effect of taking panga from us at all in this case. And of course, other than that, the Chinese are always going to be devious in their means.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Bharat, China is also concerned about, the role India is going to play in shaping the world after COVID-19. The entire ecosystem, the entire world is admonishing China. So obviously this opportunity that India has is perhaps really troubling China. And they're trying to cut us to size.
Yes, that is what they want, because they don't want anyone else to come in.